Hi everyone, welcome to another video. Today I wanted to pull out the sketchbook again and do some colored pencil illustrations in it. I'm going to try to illustrate cherry blossoms, plum blossoms, and tree peonies. So if that sounds like something that you might be interested in, then stick around. I just wanted to take a minute to admire my nails. They were done by Claude by Lily. I have her information in the description below. Isn't it just beautiful? Oh my goodness. I'm obsessed with the designs that we chose together. Ignore that. I always get a hangnail. And she's such a good friend. I'm so thankful for these. Okay. So I got some sudden inspiration from an interesting place. I just finished a game called Hakuoki. I just finished Hijikata's route in HakuokiEdoBlossoms. And in his route, the main character, Chizuru, I'm sorry if my pronunciation is bad, but the main character, Chizuru Yukimura, had discussed the beauty of cherry blossoms, and she said that they were more beautiful to her than plum blossoms and tree peonies. So I had to look up all of the above, and now I want to illustrate them all. Now, her reasoning for that was that she was comparing cherry blossoms to Hijikata, and I thought that that was just so beautiful. Pulled out my heartstrings. So, no more spoilers. Let's just jump right into the illustration. So I feel like I need to acknowledge that this is quite a daunting task for me. Cherry blossoms are not native around where I have grown up and where I live now, and nor are maybe plum blossoms are, but I don't actually know. I should be looking this stuff up before I talk about it. Give me a second. I really don't know, but I do know that these plants look a lot alike. So I'm going to do my best to hope that I'm not drawing the exact same flowers. I'm pretty sure that my pictures are different. When I look up the main difference in their appearance, it's that plum blossoms don't have like a split between the petals, and that cherry blossoms do. I do think that they look different. I'm not a flower person. I'm not a plant person. I've never been well educated on these things, so I don't trust my eyes. Feel free to enlighten me in the comments about these things. I'd love to read all about it. Another thing that I would like to acknowledge is how late I am to be playing Hakuoki for the first time. If you're thinking that, I know. I just got into these games like a little while ago, so this wasn't something I sort of grew up with, and I am so happy that this game kind of fell into my lap. So far, I'm just loving every minute of it. I played all of KyotoWinds, and now I'm doing HakuokiEdoBlossoms. I heard that I should have just did KyotoWinds into HakuokiEdoBlossoms, Edo. Sorry, what am I trying to say? I could have just, for example, done Hijikata's route in KyotoWinds and then moved on to HakuokiEdoBlossoms and finished off his route, but instead I did everyone's routes in KyotoWinds, and now I'm gonna do everyone's route in HakuokiEdoBlossoms. It just was what I wanted to do. I get really antsy to see what all of the romanceables are like. So I didn't want to go through with their whole story before I scope them all out, I guess. I'm really excited to get to Haruda's route. But I don't think I can choose a favorite. I'm so excited for so many of them. I mean, Iba, Hijikata's I was definitely very excited for before I started, and I haven't really been let down. And Yamazaki. I am so excited for Yamazaki's route. I didn't expect to be obsessed, but I am obsessed with him. What a good game. What a good story. I love when things have a bit of non-fiction in there. I have to admit, I'm not normally a slow-paced story or a slow burn romance kind of girl, but it was worth the wait. It's worth the wait. At least with Hijikata. I don't know if I have the right pink for this. Maybe I'm being a bit picky, but it needs to be like verging on being white. Maybe I should do white first and then put a little pink on top. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've actually had plum blossoms in my room this whole time. Aren't they cute? Not me procrastinating, trying to figure out what pink I'm gonna use. Okay, this I think will show up. I think this paper's a bit toned, yeah. It is, but for me to see it, it's quite difficult. I wear glasses. I'm pretty blind. Sometimes I need to just cut the camera so that I can look really close and see what I'm doing. Honestly, the outside. Okay. Be right back. I don't think I should go full realism for this. I think I should keep it a little cartoony if I can. But usually I don't do what I intend. Okay, I'm hoping that this pink will make me happy. Yeah, I think that's good. I wonder if you can still see the white around the petals. Not sure. So we want to leave a little bit of a white middle. And again, hopefully some white edges, but yeah, this is not a cartoon. And then maybe some deeper ridges, like that. Cherry blossoms are just absolutely gorgeous. I would love to see them in person. I think I'd have one of those like awestruck moments if I got to see cherry blossoms. This leaf is a lot darker than the other ones. Maybe not darker, but more desaturated in my reference photo, and I am using Pixabay stock photo as my reference photo, which is why I was a little worried about getting the flowers mixed up, because even though somebody says that it's a certain flower when they list it, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's the correct one. Just a little bit of definition on the outside. It will show that that petal is kind of not flipped, but indented, I guess. Okay. I forgot about the yellow inside, the yellow sprouts on the inside. I don't know what you call them. I'm a bit worried that they won't go over the pink very easily, the yellow, but is it yellow or is it green? A yellowy green? Okay. I made the darks darker. Now I'm going to move on to the metal. Okay, for there to be a shadow on it, then I want to do it not directly above. Go where the reference is telling me about that. This is a bright color. Ooh, I don't love it, but I think I could. Let me test it right now. If I can bring it down with another color. I am mildly regretting the bright yellow, but other than that, I think this turned out how I had hoped, basically. I might need to make this a little more pink here. It's very bright in my reference. Should I even be bigger? No, I don't know. Okay, that's one flower, and now plenty to go. When these little bulbs are in the dark, they're much darker. They're like basically brown in the photo. You don't want like equal spacing between things when you want them to look organic. I gave up on using white as the sketching color because I really couldn't see it. I'm curious if you've played Hakuoki, what routes are your favorites? What characters are your favorites? And did you enjoy the story? I didn't expect to be talking so much about it, but I love gushing over it, and since that's what's inspired this, it only makes sense. I found myself wanting to really like Okida's route and not liking it very much, but I think that's going to change in EdoBlossoms. It's hard because you know that he has this very pronounced, don't think that's the word, a very deep relationship with the chief, and I wanted to know more about that relationship, and I felt like they didn't provide that in this game yet. I mean, I knew a little bit more with the other routes, but they didn't provide it in his route in particular. I don't think the information that I wanted. but I think his character is quite intriguing and I am really interested to know more. All of this shading and everything is based off of the reference that I'm looking at, if you're wondering how I know where to put anything. And the lighting seems to be coming from this side, so if I can't quite figure out what's going on in the photo, then I'm just assuming that the light is hitting. Oh, no, not from that side. Sorry. Up here. Up here. I think I'm gonna get another pink out because this one in particular, the lighting for this one in particular changes the pink to be a different hue. And I think that that's kind of interesting and I want to do that. And then since this one is technically facing that light over there, it's quite bright. It's almost purely white. One area of darkness, and then I gotta be very light-handed. Darken some really dark areas. This is super dark because, again, the lighting's like basically straight on this flower, so the little area that attaches to the stem is not getting much light. In fact, I might even pull out the brown and just deepen that. I did do a mistake here, and that is that I didn't put the stick in first. I have a feeling it's going to clash with the color there because colored pencils don't always like layer in that way. Like I added so much colored pencil here that if I have to put brown over top, it just might change the texture and not look very good. We'll see. This one's little things are coming basically out of it. Sorry, maybe I've been covering this quite a bit. I hope I haven't been. My bad. Might not be able to see what I'm doing this whole time. I should probably get my other camera out so that I have another angle for you all. This one right here has like one peeking through. I'm having a hard time seeing what the edge of that looks like. So I'm gonna just make it into like a triangle and then have the little stems come out of it like that. I don't really think they're supposed to go backwards, but that's my fault for putting the flower there. I'm gonna add the shading for the stick later. Just kind of trying to do all of the flowers right now. There's some bulbs coming out around here. I'm going to attach them to the stem afterwards. Trying to get the composition right. Now it's finally time to move on to the stick. I don't even know where to start. As we go up here, you get to see more of the branch's color, because in the dark, it took away some of that deep red that the branch actually is, purpley red. Well, I'm a little intimidated now because I feel like nothing else I put on this page is going to be as nice as this one. And I have no idea how to draw white flowers on white paper, but we're just gonna try it. So I'm going to use blue as the color to outline my white flowers and hope that that works. Just want to figure out the shape of these flowers so that I can make a bunch of them. I feel like I made this face the absolute wrong way. Darn. I don't know if these are the same flower or different flower. I think they're different. I'm doing the flowers first this time because I didn't want the bark's really dark. I didn't want to have to go over dark bark with white petals. I like how dynamic these are looking. These turned out larger than I thought, and I do wish that I would have moved them down a bit, but I didn't know at the time. It's all good. Okay, now where did this stick start? The order in which I do things here feels very important, and yet I really don't know what order to do things in. These flowers have so many of these tendricles. I don't know, maybe they're called stamen. I'm not sure, but it's hard to draw them all, especially when the sticks themselves are white too. Yeah. Just like with the cherry blossoms, we have a little dark area around those balls. I'm hoping when I do the red I can somehow go around these, but I'm not very confident. We'll see. All right, now we're faced with the hard part. I might have to go in later with some white paint pen and create these little stems here, but I haven't decided yet. I might just like how it looks with the sort of melting of colors together when I put the white over it. All I know is it would be really difficult for me to color around each stem leaving space because there's a million stems here. I just don't want to. So this is quite exaggerated. The colors are exaggerated, but I think I like how that looks. I'm gonna move on to the petals now. Alright, so the texture of the paper is definitely not doing me any favors, but I can't blame it all on that. There's definitely... my skill is also just part of the problem here, but it's not turning out as desired. Just overlap between these two petals. So I'm going to darken the outsides like that. Okay, there are my plum blossoms. Sorry. All right, I'm moving on now to the tree peony. I'm quite nervous. I think this is going to be the hardest one. I don't know if I've already said that about the other two, but I wholeheartedly believe this is going to be the hardest one. Also, last night I finished Okita's root, and I have to say I was wrong. I really loved his root. He is a great boy. In fact, I might have enjoyed his root more than Saito's, but I do really like Saito. I just think that there wasn't enough in his root compared to Okita's. He really got up there in my ranks after that. I recommend, if you haven't played EdoBlossoms, to to play as Root and EdoBlossoms. Also, I should say that Okita's reasoning for being so committed to the chief was, you know, it was pretty obvious. I should have assumed that, but I just didn't want to assume anything, so I was happy to learn why that bond was there, and I was happy to get to know who he was as a character better. I'm struggling to determine if I just do one of these or if I do multiple, because I think that even one is a lot to handle. But it just wouldn't match very well if I only did one. I tend to start my pieces off in the most peculiar of places. I don't know why I started drawing this flower at the very edge instead of in the middle, but that's just me. Can I just leave these like this? I am so scared of messing them up. Oh my gosh. Well, I have the video of it, so that should be enough for me. Wow. This one is the most difficult. This angle is definitely not easy. I have to admit, I didn't plan out the composition well enough, so that's merging into the other flower. So let's just keep going though. Wow, doing the middle is like doing pointillism. I think I'm gonna block out the shape first and then I'll add the dots later. Just fill in the shape, and then when I'm doing the shading it'll make it look like it's dots rather than a shape. I shouldn't go too crazy with the leaves. I'm not very good at drawing leaves, coloring leaves. This is gonna be my test stem. starting with my brightest color and then getting darker and darker. I like how sharp some of these edges are on the stems, so I thought why not add a little, just a smidge of sharpness around some edges of the leaves. Especially with the dark contrast color. I don't know if that helped, but maybe. Okay, with the stem's done, we're moving on to the big intimidating part. All of it's intimidating. Who am I fooling? I wish I had a pink that was more of a purple hue. It would match the flower more. So I'm not sure if this is working out exactly how I would like it to, but just gotta keep going. I'm gonna see if boosting the contrast for this one does anything. I'm not gonna go overboard, but like, I'm not gonna smooth that transition at all and see if that adds anything. Okay, well, that is where I'm going to leave this. I'm so glad that Hakuoki inspired me to make these flowers. I really like how they turned out, and I would love to know what you think in the comments. And if you're not interested in video games, I'm sorry for rambling on about what I've been playing, but it's so cool that that's what inspired this, isn't it? So I would like to think of this as an art piece showing gratitude for the game being created, kind of like a reflection on my experience. And I like to think that it's also showing gratitude to Japan in general. Yeah, so I really hope you enjoyed this. If you want to see more videos, I make videos every single Friday and Sunday. Shorts are on Friday and long form videos are on Sunday. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day and take care. Bye.